have agreed. So for me, everything is over, and enjoy everybody who believe to work with us, to also work together with everybody. That there's no more acrimony, there's nothing to say we're disagreeing. We have all agreed on everything. So thank God. For me, it's a day we have to thank Almighty God.
For me, it's very important that this day has come to be. What we need for the progress of Rivers State is peace. And by the special grace of God this night, with the help of Mr. President and the agreement of the leaders of the states, our leader, peace has returned in Rivers State. We'll do everything within our power to make sure that we sustain it this time around.
Now, in other news, the Senate, through its Committee on Public Accounts, has issued what it terms as a last warning to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. The upper chamber is giving NNPC the grace of 10 working days to appear before it to explain queries in the audited accounts of the state-owned oil company amounting to 201 trillion naira in the form of accrued expenses and receivables recorded between 2017 and 2023. The Senate committee, chaired by Senator Aliyu Wadada, issued the stern warning after NNPCL and its external auditors failed to honor a scheduled meeting with the lawmakers on Thursday, but instead the company sent a letter read to lawmakers by the clerk to the committee requesting for 2 months to provide the documents to defend the account statement.
As a period for them to be able to respond to queries that emanated from their own books. I think it is unacceptable. For that, this committee is giving NNPC 10 working days from today to appear before the committee with the relevant answers to the questions earlier issued for this investigation to continue.
These people, NNPC, that has been taking this committee for a ride, joined by these other people now mentioned, no mention of any excuse from majority of them. I will suggest that when this committee meets next week, we will, if they don't come, we will believe that they don't have the documents or that they have no defense.
The NNPC asking for 2 months is not only funny, but goes to suggest that they have no answers to the query raised to them. That is my own conclusion to that. However, this committee, being a quasi-judicial committee, will respect the principle of fair hearing, thereby giving them more time to appear.
All right, well, those are the subsisting issues. We have continued to advocate for transparency, accountability within NNPCL, and it looks like this will be the first true test for this new management that has come in.
Okay. Let me tie NNPCL with tax, but this charade the Senate is doing, in the end, nothing will come out of it. Go and mark today's dates down. They will just go back and forth and they will play with Nigerians. They will make some noise, They will settle themselves. It's Nigeria. You see, me, I analyze from the point of view of a practical, empirical-based researcher. And I know Nigeria so well. So it's not today we've had things like that. Is it not how off your mic happened? Did anything come out of off your mic? But let's stop deceiving ourselves. As regards the tax issue, it's a good one. It will take effect in January. Very robust bill in the sense that, and names have been changed, there's no longer FIRS, it's now NRS, because all parties were listened to, especially the governors. Majorly, the sticking point by the northern governors were the conversation about the derivation. So once they fixed that, they had nothing. But when you look at and drilled at that bill, there are some provisions there for small businesses, 50 million threshold, you not pay taxes, which was even an increase from the initial finance bill of the Buhari time of 25 million threshold. That has always been in the offing before. Then you had other things like the 800,000 threshold of earning, you'll not be able to pay income tax and things like that. and some categories removed from VAT, healthcare, and some other things to be able to help the people. And it's been a long journey. We've argued back and forth as regards this. But you see, with every law, the taste of this law is when you start to implement and you start to see the pitfalls and all of that. The overreaching power that, NRS has been given, adjudication board, when you now have tax dispute cases and the way they go about it, that's the reason you will now know, where you have some of these flaws. And please, the most important thing that we should be open to changing some of these flaws. As we use this law, we should write down the things we see. But we cannot talk about tax without talking about accountability, which has always bedeviled our ecosystem. And that's why I said, yeah, you can say the Chinese is doing their job, but I don't believe in all this balongo we dance in Nigeria. This same NNPC did not produce its financial account all these years until Mele Kyari started that culture. What did the Senate do as regards that all these years? Was there any inquiry into it? Now they've produced the financial results. We are talking about discrepancy, and that's why people are lethargic about paying taxes, because what you also see about public administration and public finance. Take, for instance, this budget cycle, we pinpointed over 11,000 projects by budgets that were favorably added to it. The Senate just said, oh, no, that's not the case. We've not seen a proper rebuttal. We've not seen ICPC investigate. We've not seen any corruption body investigate. This discrepancy, NNPC is saying, I think based on Adedapo, the CFO, the new CFO, what he's saying is that, yes, they had about, I think, 107 in what's they called, payments accrued to them, and or they have some collections to be able to make, with their JVs and other things like that. That the reason why you are seeing this back and forth is because of the fact that, NNPC transited, from a government-owned entity to a private entity in 2020, between 2022 and 2023. So there might be some discrepancies as regards the putting out of the books and things like that, and that might have affected it. That they would take ample time to be able to explain the side of the NNPC and all of this. But the Senate keeps insisting that no, that's not the case. That we should drill down into it. They should come and explain. And I don't see why when the NNPC is summoned, they can't just go there and explain, and they are asking for more time. The Senate has given them till the 10th of July to be able to look at this. So both parties are just going back and forth as regards this. We would like the Senate to be able to drill down deep. What we have always said is there needs to be an independent assessment and a forensic audit of all that transpired in the NNPC. I think the Senate's premise is even wrong in the first place. You are inquiring something based on the report the person presented. Yes, which is a good one. But what we should be calling for is an independent audit, a forensic audit, so we even know the true nature of what is going on in the NNPC. One, as regards the subsidy regime, all that transpired around that time, and every other thing that might have gone on. A proper investigation. That's what we need. It's not summoning people based on the report they presented. No. A proper detailed investigation, which the government might have to pay for if we truly want to sanitize this country. As regards Fubara and Wike, the truth is, they will always settle their fights. In the first place, the fight was about the resource of the states. Now, they've been able to untwist Fubara. It just shows that Fubara couldn't fight the hegemony, so he went on a wild goose chase. The same agreements that probably Fubara didn't want to agree before, maybe is what they agreed now. I don't have the empirical facts. I don't like to talk in the blind, but in the dark. But probably it's that same agreement. It will not be more than, yielding to your boss and all of that. You can see I think that's Amawule, the Speaker of the House, and the factions at which they fought. So all of them are singing Kumbaya today, and it's all over. For good measure, the question we ask Fubara is that, will you just now go ahead to join APC? So that we just know that you have potted fully, or because I don't know or you still want to do this amorphous relationship that your boss Wike does, that is one leg in, one leg out. In the end, this was not about the Rivers people. So the delusion that they are trying to put forward and say, oh, this is about peace, it was not about the Rivers people. It's about both of them having an innate agreement. Things went south. And then Wike flexed his muscle, obviously, in this. He came out winners because he had more might, and he has been able to set Fubara straight. And they are on the line on the part of this, their own private agreement. All of this, see, don't deceive yourself. Politicians, when they fight, it's never about you, the people. Forget it. Your prospects in life is just like 1 or 2 line items on the budget. For them, it's about themselves and their families and what they can build. So, If are we going to say congratulations to people in Rivers? What congratulations? Because they still put a sole administrator there, despite the things we talked about, the aberration of state of emergency, he still went ahead. So why do we deceive ourselves so much in this country?
Okay, I said yesterday that the 4 tax bills that President Tinubu was going to assent to was a major development. President Tinubu himself described it as a historic moment. And I think that the first person that we should congratulate should be President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, who has now provided the regime for putting a proper framework around tax administration in Nigeria. Tax administration always been a problem, not just in Nigeria, but in other parts of the world, because basically people don't like to pay tax. Even UNESCO, the taxman comment. When the taxman comes, everybody is panicking. But what the Tinubu administration has done is to provide this framework via 4 bills proposed through the instrumentality of the Taiwo Oyedele-led Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, namely the Nigerian Tax Bill, namely the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, which is supposed to provide legal and operational framework, the Nigeria Revenue Service, Bill, which creates a new body called the Nigeria Revenue Service, which replaces the existing body, the FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service. The objective of it is to create a national revenue agency. And then the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, now an act, which is supposed to establish relationship, among the various stakeholders, cooperation between revenue authorities. So congratulations to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Even the whole idea of initiating this is bold, is courageous. Congratulations also, as President Tinubu pointed out, to the National Assembly and to the Oyedele Committee, because this was a very controversial bill. States opposed it. At the end of the day, they've been able to find some accommodation. However, as Taiwo Oyedele said yesterday, the taste of the pudding is in the taste of the pudding is in the taste, whatever. In the eating. Okay. Now we have this law. We have to test it. And he is saying that one of the highlights of this law, and he has said so consistently, is about fairness and justice. A situation whereby the average Nigerian will not have to be subjected to multiple taxation. The average Nigerian will not have to pay VAT on food, health, education, and basic things that provide good livelihood. And he says that this, in the long run, is to help the average Nigerian to have better life. We need to see that. When we go to restaurants now, we have to be sure that they are not going to charge us for VAT. When we go to buy medicine, healthcare, it's also there. We have to be sure. So the federal government needs also to put in this light a monitoring process in place. The other person who spoke about this was Zak Adediji. Zak Adediji is the head of the FIRS. He is now going to be the head of the Nigeria Revenue Service. He says their operations have been expanded, okay, to give them a better oversight on this. But he also says, apart from addressing household spending, which we really talked about, it's also about responsibility. All these are very relevant issues. And then, of course, NECA, the chairman, is called Director General of NECA, the Nigeria Employers Consultatives, Association, NECA, says his name is Adewale Oyerinde, I think, Smart Oyerinde, whatever, But he also says this is a good development. So everybody is talking positively about this new regime. Taxation having been a major problem in this country. Not just about revenue, but expanding the net and also ensuring justice, fairness, and equity. And I quote, Oyedele in that regard. But as I said, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. Implementation is the next challenge. Now, very quickly, I'll go to NNPCL. Now, the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, led by Senator Wadada, is saying that NNPCL has to come and account for 201 trillion naira. That's the exact figure that they are asking for. They say they have discovered financial opacity, discrepancies, lack of transparency and accountability in the accounts of the NNPC between 2017 and 2023. Now, NNPC says, give us 2 months for us to reconcile. And what was the funny excuse that the Bayo-Ojulari NNPCL is giving? That, oh, chief executives are away on a retreat? No, I want to start with that. I find that insulting, offensive. They give you a job, the first thing you do is you say you are going on a retreat. And you are not just going on a retreat, you are going on a retreat in Rwanda, in Kigali. I assume that they are back. Okay, so why is Rwanda the destination? Bayo-Ojulari is 60 years old. He was 60 recently. He must have enough basic common sense to know that he cannot operate the way other Nigerians operate. You just think that this is an opportunity to live large. If he does that, President Tinubu should remove him immediately. What everyone was asking for is a new dispensation in NNPCL, and you get there, you people put yourself in private jets, in charter flights, and you go off to Rwanda to go and do a retreat. You can do it in Abeokuta. You can do it in Cross River. Right? Yep. You can do it in Akwa Ibom. What are you people going to look at? What reconciliation are you looking at that you have to go on a flight of fancy? No. We expect from this board, this management team led by Bayo-Ojulari, enough seriousness that will not allow us to start asking that we cannot have business as usual. The Senate Public Committee on Accounts has asked this management team to show up on July 10. And I think they should show up. The committee has said if they don't show up, they will charge for contempt. Now, NNPC, the CFO was there last week, and he was saying that, look, you know, there's just a misunderstanding. We are reconciling the accounts. Reconciliation is ongoing. Yes, let them go there and do the reconciliation, because this is a matter of public attention. Bayo-Ojulari got into that position because people were saying, oh, Mele Kyari didn't do well and all that. Okay, let him go there. Government is continuous. Let him look at the audited accounts and let him tell the story as it should be told. We will keep an eye on him because it is our job to do so. So now that they are back from wherever they went to on a retreat, let them not try it again. If they want to have a retreat, there's no retreat that intelligent people with basic common sense want to do that they cannot do in this environment. Finally, what's his name? Fubara meeting with Wike. Look, what Fubara has done is just to do an unconditional release, or unconditional surrender to exhibit his cowardice. I know that before now he had gone to London to see the president and all that. He's been busy begging. Okay, so what he has done is to cop out. All those people that I see there, I know many of them. I haven't seen anybody there that is Fubara's camp. It's, Nyesom Wike's camp dominating the meeting. So what it means is that Fubara has done an unconditional surrender. What are the details of that surrender? We would like to know. Has he now agreed that he will bow down, kowtow to the Godfather after the fashion of the Adelabu, matter in Oyo State? Has he also kowtowed to the extent that whatever the Godfather says is what he will agree? We would like to know what the details are. And where does this leave all those youths saying, we are fighting for Ijaw Nation, we are fighting for Fubara, and those stomach-driven elders who were coming on television to defend Fubara? Did you consult